Wally West is currently the Flash of the main universe, while Barry Allen is off in the multiverse trying to figure out what's going on with Dark Crisis. So what is happening to the life of Wally West now that he is the Flash again? Well, in our last video, a powerful weapon fell to Earth, and Wally found that the people and heroes who came close to it suddenly became enraged, and fighting broke out throughout the city. Seemingly the only one unaffected by that weapon, Wally fought his way through the masses to the weapon to find Eclipso, who had actually been trapped within the glaive and was the one fueling everyone's hate. Once Eclipso possessed a powerful energy vampire, he then escaped. But before Wally could give chase, a new story started, with Dr. Fate pulling him into another world, telling him that the balance of the world rests on his hands. This is Comicstorian. I bring you audio dramas of current comic books, allowing you to keep up with what's going on in the world of comic books so that you can add them to your collection by going to your local comic book store, or so that you can get the next issues and figure out what exactly is going on in the world of comic books. Today we're going to be covering The Flash, and this is the storyline that brings us right up to Dark Crisis, where we then go into the Flash's storyline in Dark Crisis. If you want to win a copy of a graphic novel of this book, check down below for my pinned comment at the top, and I'll tell you what you need to do to win a copy of this. Alright, let's get into the story. With everything going on in the world, Wally begins to ask what exactly is going on here. Where did Dr. Fate even bring him? Why are they in a dark cave? Dr. Fate explains that they are currently in a two-dimensional causeway. They must act quickly before Eclipso can make his move. However, this journey is dangerous. Even now, the foul beasts and demonic apparitions native to this dimension are moving into strike, which is why we need you to guide us through this. Wally is kind of stunned by the way that Dr. Fate said that and emphasized you. He looks at him. What? Me? How am I supposed to? But Dr. Fate stops him and says, no, not you. You, the reader of this book. Wally stops asking him, what the heck are you talking about? Is your helmet too tight or something? And then Dr. Fate removes the veil from Wally's mind, and he realizes they're in a comic book. He stares back at you, the reader, asking, who is this? This doesn't even make sense. How are they watching us? And Dr. Fate tells him, I don't have time to explain. The demons of this realm have found us. As hundreds of little creatures swarm out, Wally asks, can't they just use magic missiles or something like that? And Dr. Fate tells him that the magic in the second dimension is much more limited than the third. They don't have access to the Dr. Fate powers here. Wally pushes off some of the creatures, asking what are they supposed to do then? And Dr. Fate tells him, the reader can help. You, turn the comic counterclockwise, now! Suddenly, as you shift the comic book, the world shifts 45 degrees, and Wally and Dr. Fate fall several panels ahead to a door that they must enter. While climbing through this rotated dimension, the two manage to escape the monsters, and they swing open the door just in time for Dr. Fate to refer to us, the reader, again. Can you please return the book to its correct orientation? As the two step into the door, they find a long hallway of guards. And the second that they walk in, every head in the room snaps to them. Wally turns to Dr. Fate. Any ideas? And as the guards all start to charge in, Dr. Fate turns back. You! Blow on the page! Snuff out the torches! So, dear viewers, since the readers were supposed to snuff out the torches, blow on your screen right now. Seconds later, the room goes dark thanks to you doing that. And then there are the sounds of metal clanging together. After a few moments, Dr. Fate creates a light to see, and Wally laughs looking back, telling him that the dumb killer automation guards can't even see in the dark. But soon the two of them find themselves at an impasse as a giant hole separates them from the next door that they must enter. And Wally looks back. Hey, reader? How about you give us a little clockwise tilt, cool? No sooner than he asks and you tilt the comic, then the world quickly tilts, tossing him and Dr. Fate into the chasm and through the door. They both land in a giant underground lake where the magical book is floating in the air. And Wally asks, what is that? Dr. Fate tells him, it is our way out. All we need to do is get... But before he could finish, something grabs Dr. Fate by the leg, dragging him underwater. Wally shouts to the reader again, you guys, you gotta turn the book completely upside down. The world again shifts as you turn the book upside down, but this time, it's pouring water out of the lake as it's upside down. As the giant sea monster is revealed, Wally leaps in, swinging the glaive, cutting the tentacles, holding Dr. Fate hostage. After peeling the tendrils off of him, Dr. Fate yells out again, turn the book to the right. So as you turn the book, the world turns, and he grabs the mystical book on his way to the other side. As he looks through the pages, he finds the glyphs that are needed to open up the portal, ones that were seen through their travels. Reader, you must go back and find the glyphs. Touch the glyphs in the order that you've seen them. Red, blue, and yellow. As we go back through the comic book ourselves, touching the glyphs on the pages, the monster attacks again, causing Dr. Fate to drop the book. But he yells out again, Reader, touch them in the correct order! So after touching the red circle, the blue triangle, and then finally the yellow triangle, the book shines, pulling Wally and Dr. Fate into the portal. A few seconds later, they fall out into the bright pastel world, with Dr. Fate stating, We've made it. We've made it to Gemworld. And Amethyst tells him, Maybe, but you're too late. Eclipso has won. Quickly, Wally and Dr. Fate get to their feet as a massive creature attacks them. That's when Wally realizes that Justice League Dark are also here in Gemworld with him. They all begin a massive retreat, with Amethyst stating that the crystal worms are usually peaceful. But Bobo tells her, obviously not when old Eclipso's at the wheel. Who, by the way, hasn't even made so much as an appearance yet. She then says that he must have made it to the Black Heart then. The only person who knows where it is locked away under the House of Diamond. It's an impenetrable fortress, undoubtedly guarded by, but Wally stops. Under the House of Diamond? Which way? Amethyst points south, asking what is he planning. And Wally says that he's going to use one of his superpowers that he doesn't get to use often. Being annoying! Using his super speed, he begins to stab and poke the crystal worm all over its body until it roars in a fit of rage trying to stop him. Now with an angry mega creature following him, Wally runs towards the House of Diamond and begins to burrow himself underground. Once getting himself into position, he waits for the right moment as the crystal worm lunges for him. He shoots back up, letting the creature slam headfirst into the nearly indestructible walls of the House of Diamond. As everyone enters, Bobo says that he is a world-renowned detective. But it doesn't take much to see that this guy is obviously like super evil, right? Amethyst tells everyone that this man's name is Dark Opal. He tried to take over Gemworld once or twice, and Dark Opal says, I also made a fair attempt at trying to kill you. Don't forget that. She grabs her sword, but Dark Opal says that they can torture him all they'd like, but it won't grant them the information that they seek. He can lead them to Eclipso. All it will cost is his freedom. Etrigan looks at him. I've seen devils with smiles such as that. His words say he'll help, but in his heart lies a trap. Constantine chimes in, true. But we don't have much of a choice now, do we? Zatanna agrees that John is right. Wally walks up. Well then, great. Sounds like we all have plans all set to go. So, magic people, who's gonna bibbity-bobbity-boo us back to Earth? Dr. Fate says that he's sorry, but I can't let you go just yet. You are the only one who does not get swayed by Eclipso's influence. It would serve us all well to have someone immune to his reach, Wally. Constantine looks back. What, this bloke? Immune to Eclipso. Wally gives a half-hearted thumbs up. Yeah, me. Magic adventure where I'm immune. After a bit of traveling, the unlikely group finds a giant chasm in the ground, and Dark Opal tells them that this is it, the Black Heart. Emesis says that she thought it was just a fairy tale, but Dark Opal says of course she did. This hole leads to the very center of Gemworld. He himself attempted to reach it and unlock the secrets of this planet, but it is guarded by the forces that not even he can break. Zatanna asks why would Eclipso need to get to the center of the planet? And while everyone tries to think of something, Wally says, actually, I might know. Constantine chimes over. Really? Anyone hear that? Flash knows what Eclipso is up to, even though we, the most powerful magic users on Earth and other realms, have exhausted all means at our disposal to find out. Please enlighten us, Speedster 1. Wally says, well, when Jai was younger, his Uncle Barry gave him a build-your-own antenna kit. The central piece of it was a hunk of quartz. It worked pretty good, too. Zatanna pauses. Wait, actually, this makes sense, Constantine. It's right in the name, Gemworld. This entire planet is some form of crystalline gem. Dr. Fate begins to speak, saying that if what Dark Opal said is true, Eclipso is trying to unweave the magic that guards the heart. If he is successful, all is lost. Gather, heroes. We must descend into the heart and wage war with the most dangerous of foes. Flash, stay here with the glaive and then... But as Dr. Fate trails off, Wally stops him. Hey, are you okay? Frog got your throat? And then he looks back to see that everyone save for Dark Opal is now under Eclipso's control. Within a matter of seconds, everyone attacks Wally as Eclipso taunts him, telling him, you have no hope. No chance of defeating the great Eclipso. Wally throws Bobo off of him, telling him, I'm the Flash, and I'm all about hope. Zatanna begins to cast her magic, but Wally grabs a hold of Ragman. Nobody, nope. and he wraps the cloak around her face. While taking out the others, Wally then stops before Amethyst as Eclipso tells him that these are just puppets. You'll have to kill them if you want to. Suddenly there's a loud thwack, and Amethyst's body falls to the ground as Dark Opal holds up a giant rock. Gladly! Wally takes the rock from him. No killing! And Dark Opal tells him, fine. But if we're going to survive, we're going to need to get away from here before they wake. And Wally asks, do you have a place in mind? Dark Opal tells him that the glaive that he is wielding once held Eclipso, right? But since it's lost its magic, Eclipso is free. So they need to recharge the glaive and trap him again. Wally hands over the glaive asking if he can really do it. And Dark Opal tells him, I'm a sorcerer of considerable power. Given enough time, I can do anything. So Dark Opal begins his preparations, with Wally telling him that he doesn't get it. Why are you helping us? Isn't it obvious? For my freedom. Isn't that right? Eclipso. Suddenly a beam is fired out of the portal, knocking Wally down, and out of it, all of the Justice League Dark come rushing out. With that, Wally was captured and trapped within a crystal. Some time passes with the Justice League Dark having won, and Etrigan is punching Wally over and over, with Wally telling him, for a possessed demon who is possessing another demon, you sure hit like a baby, Eclipso. Through Amethyst, Eclipso tells him, that is enough. Everything on this planet is under my control, except you. Why? What makes you so special, Flash? And Wally smiles. Because you didn't say please. Eclipso slaps Wally. I will show you why I am the only true spirit of vengeance. You will finally feel the wrath I've endowed him with. Wally coughs up. Someone will stop you. Who? You, the Justice League? Even if they knew what was happening, they could do nothing. I am currently unraveling the last of the magic guarding the heart. This world's crystalline bones will shout into the inky black of space, and I will have my revenge. And nothing will stop me, Flash. Eclipso takes the glaive, getting ready to end Wally. When suddenly, there's a giant explosion. As the smoke clears, Wally looks down to see Jai, I-Ray, and another girl, and he asks, kids? I-Ray looks at her father. Hi, Dad. Etrigan rushes in, but Jai punches him through the roof, with I-Ray blowing Bobo away with her cyclone. Jai then turns back, punching the crystal, holding Wally to free him, and asks if he's okay. Wally says, besides having a million questions as to how you're all here, yeah, I'm fine, I really am. At that moment, the little girl with them asks what they want to do about this guy. And Wally looks up to see a projection of a giant bear holding Dark Opal. Yeah, like, what the heck is going on, kids? The little girl says that she can explain, Mr. West. She convinced I-Ray to sneak out of the house, but then they were abducted by super bad guys. Jai chased after them, and I-Ray reconnected his powers, and they all got buffed. They beat up the bad guys and zap. They came here because Jai sensed that you were in trouble. Okay, all right, no, that all makes sense, but who are you? The girl explains her name is Maxine Baker, but you can call me Animal Girl. But while Maxine goes on, Jai groans in pain, and Wally tells him he got his powers back, so I'm assuming the pain came back to you as well. Jai says that they can disconnect him when they get home, but he knew he was in trouble, and so Dark Opal then speaks. No, you're all in trouble. I thought by capturing you, it would weaken you, but now... Wait, you do realize that with Eclipso succeeding, you're going to be mind-controlled like the rest of the universe, right? Yes, but I wasn't lying about recharging the glaive. Wally stares for a moment, contemplating Dark Opal's honesty. But with no other choice but to believe him, he hands the glaive back to Dark Opal, telling him, get to it. Later, back in the front of the Black Heart, Dark Opal hands the glaive back to Wally, telling him that it took almost everything he had, but the glaive is recharged. They only have one shot at this. Alright, I can do it. I just need a clear shot at Eclipso. Jai cracks his knuckles. Don't worry, Dad. We got this. As soon as the pain returns, Wally tells him he can't let him fight. But I-Ray tells him that they can't do it without Jai. And Jai sits back up. Yeah, she's right. Don't worry. I can do this, Dad. Wally sighs, telling them that Linda is going to kill him when she finds out that he went on a Flash adventure with his kids. That's a problem for another day. Speaking of killing, don't! These people are possessed. They don't have any idea what they're doing. Suddenly, a giant beam shoots out of the Black Heart, and Dark Opal says that Eclipso has reached a heart. It's happening! Wally turns back to everyone, kneeling down, telling them to make sure that they look out for each other and don't take risks. He'll give them a 10-second head start to clear the path. Then he's going to start running. If he can build up enough speed, Eclipso will never see them coming. On your mark, get set, go! As the kids and Dark Opal charge into the fray, Wally patiently waits as he begins to count to 10. As the fighting begins, he forces himself not to join, watching as the kids prove themselves to be possible actual heroes. As he counts down to 10, he sees the path, and he begins to run. The Flash runs. He enters the Black Heart, and Wally can feel himself slowing down. But then he decides to tap into the Speed Force to surge it through himself, breaking through the slowdown. He feels a sudden rush of energy, continuing to run down into the pit, only briefly stopping when he finds Eclipso getting ready to fully integrate and take control of the universe. Wally holds up the glaive, and he throws it, stabbing it directly into Eclipso's head, severing his connection to the Black Heart. He's then forced back into his prison, his influence on everyone beginning to fade, and Wally laughs. "Haha! I hope it's cramped in there." And then a voice tells him that he is. Wally looks up asking if that's the Spectre? Spectre takes the glaive, and Wally tells him that he can have it. It's been nothing but trouble since it landed in the city. Spectre tells him that the angel who was to guard the weapon was attacked by the disciples of Eclipso. The angel then hurled it into the cosmos before they could get their hands on it, and it would seem that Providence guided it to him. "He is pleased with you, Wally West." Wally asks, "Wait, pleased? Wait, he? As in..." And Wally points up. "Yes, him." "Well, not to sound like a jerk, but we could have used some help." "Why do you think Eclipso could not affect you, Wally? In any case, I must go. Return to your family." But Wally tells him, "Wait, can I ask you a favor? It's my son Jai. The Speed Force is split between him and Ray, and he's in pain because of it. Is there a way to..." "I will remind you that you have an extra bit of energy that you could give to your son, if you choose." "Wait, the Surge? Did he plan that too?" "It's all a part of his plan. Now go. Your family awaits." Later back outside, Dr. Fate says that it would appear that he was successful. Wally says that he has nothing else that he needs to do. He looks over at Jai and he tells him that he proved himself to be a real hero even without his powers. And now, since the Speed Force gave this to him, he will pass it on. He passes the Surge on to Jai, who sits back up telling him that the pain is gone. "Yeah, that's the Surge. Hey, it's not a bad hero name either. We need to get you back before your mother ends up being worried sick." Meanwhile, back on Earth, Linda sits up in her bed trying to finish a bit of writing before going back to sleep. But after getting a bit stumped on her ending, she decides to get a snack and check on the kids, who both happen to not be in bed. She calls out to them as she checks around the house, but as she goes outside, she realizes that she ran out of the house with the speed of a speedster. She looks at herself, realizing what she just did. Oh, this isn't good. No, this isn't good at all. And that concludes our story of Flash. Now, I'm pretty sure this one brings us up to the Dark Crisis storyline. So we're officially caught up on the Wally West storylines going on in DC Comics right now. Because next he moves into the Dark Crisis storyline, which we have broken up into multiple parts inside of the Dark Crisis stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed this Flash coverage, and we're going to be getting back to covering more Bat family-oriented stuff on the Sundays now that we've kind of broken it up. We have a brand new Robin to introduce you to next week, so I hope you guys are excited about that. If you do like this kind of content, please consider liking and subscribing. And if you're curious about what I said about the contest at the beginning, what we're going to be doing is basically I need you to show me that you liked, subscribed, and left a comment here on this video. And the way we're going to prove it and avoid all of the scams here on YouTube, you just go to our Discord and leave proof that you did it there by just telling me to check or something along those lines. I'll give all of the direct directions in the pinned comment down below. That way you know it's me saying it and not all of the weird scams coming across YouTube that are claiming that I'm giving away a PS5. By the way, if you're interested in that, we're going to be doing something very similar on our gaming channel, but you'll find out when we start doing it within the next couple of weeks. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for your continued support. I hope you guys enjoyed today's Flash video, and I'll see you next time right here.